Here at the left side we see one of the KUKA working horses that we have been adapting for the medical technology standards. This is a KR Quantec that can carry up to 300 kilograms, and here we have been equipping it with an C-arm X-ray imaging system so that an overall system can be used in an interventional room. On the right side you can see a customized robot that has been lowered into the floor and has been adapted so that a patient table could be mounted on for patient positioning during a therapy. The robot with the C-arm needs to be fast and accurate. Accurate for the imaging, so that you gain in the end a good image quality, and on the other hand also fast, if the application requires a fast acquisition of the image data. For example, when it goes into imaging of the heart. Another benefit of the robot with the C-arm is its flexibility. You can see it can do imaging on the head, it can do imaging on the abdominal region. It can either do imaging also while the patient is sitting, or it can adapt to a table that is high or that is low, depending on the surgery that is currently performed. And this gives a very good flexibility of the system. Also as well, you just press one button and the system is recording the position where it is. Then it can be moved away and the surgeon can later get it back onto the same position with just pressing one button. The patient positioning device that we have here needs to be very accurate. We can have patient weights between 50 and 150 kilograms, but on the other hand it needs to be precise to hit the tumor target. These type of systems are especially used in radiation or particle therapy, where you're shooting with photons or heavy ions on the tumor of the patient. And there it's important that you have a sub-millimeter accuracy, that you really hit the tumor and not the healthy tissue around it. The robot with the C-arm here on the left side has been used by Siemens for their interventional imaging system and has been now distributed all over the world for already a decade. Another partner we have been intensively working with, we can see the application here, is Accuray, who has been using this linear accelerator on the robot as mentioned before for patient treatment. And KUKA is strong in patient positioning, as you see it at the right robot. We have different kinds of solutions where robots are packed on the ceiling or lowered into the floor, where we have customized kinematics. And here we're working with a couple of different companies like BEC, Accuray itself, or had been using with Siemens as well. Okay, so far in summary, an overview on our robots. They need to be accurate and precise, although they carry here heavy payloads. A lot of ideas that have been coming up, but showing here a smart portion of it.
So this is the Da Vinci S 4-arm robot. What we have here is 4 arms. Arms 1, 2, and 3 have equipment in them, and the other arm here is held for the camera that looks inside the body. So this arm is controlled in a console in the corner by the surgeon's right hand, the surgeon's left hand, and then you can actually click a clutch button and switch back and forth between these 2 arms with your left hand. So typically what we do is with this hand we pull something aside, we hold something out of the way, and then with this hand we actually do work. So to show you an example of some of the instruments, this is a scissor here, so we use this for dissection. So it's this tiny little thing, but inside the console it looks huge because of the magnification. This one here is called a suture cut needle driver. So this one we use to drive sutures, and there's also a little scissor inside there to cut sutures. And this one is called a ProGrasp, and we use this to hold tissue. Hold tissue out of the way, hold it aside, hold it for dissection. And then the arms have so many dimensions of movement. We can move them like this. We've essentially got what we call sort of like a shoulder and then an elbow. The arms move like this. They move side to side like this. That's another advantage of robotic surgery. With laparoscopic or keyhole surgery, you hold instruments like this, but your dimensions of movement are in and out. You can twist your wrist and you can open and close the instrument. With the robot, you actually have a wrist. This motion here, wristed motion. And in fact,
Show me that again.
Sure, wristed motion like this, okay? Like a wrist, okay? You can't do that with laparoscopic surgery. And in fact, the Da Vinci wrist is superhuman or supraphysiologic. The Da Vinci wrist can go, I think it's 720 degrees, where a human wrist maxes out like this, but the Da Vinci wrist can get like more than twice that when you're inside the console. So that just sort of makes you a superhuman surgeon. So that's how surgery works with Da Vinci robotics. The patient is on the bed. We get them all positioned, whatever's necessary for that particular surgery. We bring the robot in. Ports go into the stomach, and then through that we have the instruments that are connected to the Da Vinci arm. And then once everything is sort of clicked in place, or what we refer to as docking the robot, then the surgeon sits in the console in the corner where they have little controllers and a bunch of foot pedals, and they control the robot from inside the console. So this is the console for the Da Vinci S. This is where the surgeon sits. Come on back here and I'll show you all the buttons. So the head goes in here, and once you're inside you get your 3D vision, and it senses that your head's in here, so it won't turn on unless your head's in there. And then down here are the controls. So this is how the surgeon controls the robot. Okay. Down here with the foot pedals, there's a clutch, which switches the left hand to control the third or fourth arm. There's a camera pedal, so you can use the arms to zoom in on whatever you're looking at. There's two different types of electricity, bipolar electricity and monopolar electricity, to seal over blood vessels. This button here does the focus of the camera. And then here, there's a number of choices to set the robot up exactly how you want it. 3D vision, the angle of the camera, the amount of motion precision that you have, the amount of working distance, and then a couple of power button and emergency stop and things like that. So when I put my head in here and move these little joysticks around, that's how the operation is completed. So it's kind of like sitting in a giant video game. And that's the Da Vinci robot. And I'm Dr. Jennifer Young with the Urology Group and Inova Loudon Hospital.
Today is an opportunity for Anne and Bill to have a conversation through our brain decoding to facilitate what we think would resemble a future use of an actual real-life application of the technology.
We want to try to basically create a demonstration where we're decoding the text, the speech, and the avatar at the same time from Anne's brain as she tries to silently attempt to speak. We just trained some new models yesterday, so we might need to test it a little bit.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, we'll run through some practice runs.
The device is an electrocorticography grid, which is attached to a pedestal, which is screwed onto the participant's skull. Anne is the very first person to have this combination.
I think you are wonderful.
In the Chang Lab, we really focus on restoring voice to people that have lost it due to conditions like stroke or ALS.
What we're picking up on are neural activity related directly to the attempts to move her facial muscles, and that's what we're able to decode into speech.
Hey Anne, how's it going?
It is good to see you.
Giving them the ability to communicate again with their loved ones and caregivers is really what we're looking to do.
I was thinking about running to the store.
What time will you be home?
In about an hour.
Do not make me laugh.
That's the first time we've ever had a conversation using this system.
In order to communicate in her day-to-day life, she has an assistive communication device. These are dollar store glasses, and she interfaces with it using a little reflective sticker on them. It's very slow, and the device now is very old, but she relies on it.
For us to have that conversation using her Dynavox would probably be like a 5 to 7 minute conversation.
It was nice to have a conversation. I forget how slow this machine is.
When Anne was 30 years old, she was playing volleyball with some friends and had a stroke, which led to the condition that she has now, which is locked-in syndrome. At this point, she had a 6-month-old child and a 7-year-old child.
You are truly wonderful people.
The physicians have no idea why this happened. That was now 18 years ago.
Hand that to me, please.
How can we create technology that can help people really meaningfully contribute with all sorts of abilities?
Hi, how are things going?
Hi Anne, things are going fine. How are you feeling about the Blue Jays today?
Anything is possible.
Oh, you're showing not a lot of confidence in them today, are you?
You are right about that.
I guess we'll see, won't we?
I feel really lucky to work with a group of students and fellows and engineers and scientists, all as a team that have had this singular goal for the last 10 years to build a device that can restore speech. And we are getting so close to making this something that is going to be a real solution for patients.
Will you do me a favor?
It's incredible to hear her discuss her journey.
Hand that to me, please.
Apart from her motivations to actually advance this technology,
I thought it would be good for me.
if you're able to produce text, synthesize speech, and then also a personalized avatar, she believes that would really, and we do too, advance her ability to become a counselor and to work with people. It's important to develop technologies which can better support individuals with disabilities, because it's a huge amount of people who we exclude from workplaces.
My hope is that this is going to be just a stepping stone to many other things that can be done for people who have lost the ability to communicate, to realize their full potential.
Cleveland Clinic researchers have built prosthetic limbs that move intuitively and feel sensations of movement and touch at the same time. The team also developed new tests to provide insight into natural human behaviors. They found that the more ways a bionic limb communicates with its user, the more users think and function like people who have their natural hands. People with traditional prosthetics must rely on their eyes to make up for lost sensation. They constantly watch their hands to guide their movements and avoid dropping things. It is different for people who have their natural hands. They use their eyes to quickly locate an item to grasp before looking away to plan their next movements. With the new bionic limb, people behaved like they had a natural hand. They no longer needed to watch their prosthesis, and they could find things without looking, make better decisions, correct for their mistakes, and simply feel more whole.